What's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there this evening? I am Lee Black. Welcome to another edition of Real Talk for Real Men on this January 25th. Your boy's still celebrating this born day, doing it like we do it because I'm above ground and my flappers are flapping, so I'm feeling good today. I'm trying to tell you, I made it to the middle of the week. This, if your first time joining us, we are part of the TFG platform of shows. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, under Ratchet and Uncut, and you can just go look for my monkey ass all by itself on YouTube. Real Talk for Real Men. That's how we get down. We're going to have some fun tonight because I'm feeling pretty good. Let me bring in my host with the most, Miss Tasha McMack. What's going on, baby girl?
You too, motherfucking happy on Wednesday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm feeling pretty good. How you doing, sweetheart?
I am here. I'm here. I'm here.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
But right now, I'll take here. Hopefully, by the end of this hour, we're going to get you there. We're going to get you there. So we're going to take it up to a notch. I got my brother in the house. This is my little brother from North Carolina, Mr. Ghost himself, Mr. Bert. What's up, partner? What's up?
What's going on, y'all? I need, man, give me all that energy, boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm feeling good today. I got to tell you, I'm in a good mood. I just took me a hot shower. I got my drink going on, so I'm all right. Yes,
you
sir.
You must have got you some head or something. You too damn happy. You had there got some head.
Didn't drop a drop.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Didn't drop a
I
drop.
know my friend. I know my friend.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm starting off 2023 all right. Got a header in the stable. I'm trying to tell you. This is my boy Kenny from Texas. What's going on, partner?
Oh, my goodness. Tasha guessed it all. I'm like, why is this brother so happy? He talking about his flappers flapping. And now we finally, you got an oil change, brother. That's what happened. So we know why you happy now. You got an oil change.
And a nigga is on E. I'm going to tell you right now. Nigga is on E. I'm trying to tell you.
My goodness.
What's going on, Mr. Eric? Good to see you, my partner. How you doing? And I got my sister in the house from New York. What's going on, sis? How you doing?
What's up, bro? Hi, everybody.
What's going on,
Hey, what's up,
How
Sherry?
you doing, sis? How are you doing in the NY?
I'm doing fine.
I don't like your energy. We're going to have to get you pumped up. Smoke something. Drink something. Shit.
Not everybody
everybody ain't getting it like
right.
Everybody ain't getting it like you, brother. Come on, man.
I love it.
Mr. Eric, I'm doing just fine, my brother. Just fine. I got to tell you, good to see you, though. That's what's up. All right, we're going to jump into this thing because we got some good things to talk about, I hope. You know, the topic for tonight and what we're going to be talking about is dating, of course. But you know what? I wanted to talk about some deal breakers, you know. Recently, I went to an event and I haven't been getting out a lot towards the end of the year. Long story short, I got into this event last weekend. I had a little bit more fun than I expected. I didn't make it back for Saturday. And you know what? As I'm looking around this room, I was looking at some of them nasty, filthy, no goods. And I mean that with all due respect because these was grown women. But I'm telling you something. It was some asses in that room. Nice looking bodies in that room, better than I thought. But here's what washed over me in that moment. You know, I got to thinking like, damn, am I really ready to get back out here? Because from that time to this, you know, I don't even know how to date anymore. I'm a changed person. My reality has changed. My expectations have changed. The needle has moved for me. And so I started seriously contemplating, like, even if I was to date with intention, where am I at right now? So before we get into this, and we're going to be talking about dating deal breakers, I want to ask you as the panel, from where you were, I'm talking about just maybe 3 years ago, Are the same things important to you now as they were 3 years ago? And do you have any dating deal breakers that you have developed over time? Anybody?
Go ahead, Tasha. You the lady. Go ahead first.
Well, no, because I was just really just sitting here thinking from 3 years ago, no, the same things are important to me. I would say on what I will deal with now, my tolerance level, that scale has shrunk significantly,
Okay.
but that's just for people in general. But then also I'd probably say I would have like reorganized and restructured of what I consider like most important. I put even more emphasis now on holding someone accountable, like for their word. Do they do what they say that they're going to do? That to me is slowly like has moved up my list to very, very high. So, but I wouldn't say anything else has changed.
Okay. Okay. And for full disclosure, if you don't, I'm hoping I'm breaking any cardinal rule here. If you don't want to say your age, what age group do you fall in?
I'm 34.
I didn't think she might, but you have to
Right.
ask.
You have to.
So she's 34. What about for you guys? Now I know, Mr. Poston, you're married or whatnot, but I do want you to answer this even from your context. When you was looking for and choosing your wife, were there any things that were deal breakers that you knew definitively at this stage that that for me can't happen? So as you answer, I want you to answer from that perspective. But Sherry and Kenny, please tell me where you stand over these last 3 years.
For me, I'm not looking at what I see out here. It ain't worth getting. I don't. It seems like a lot of men don't have a lot of respect these days for women, the way of how I grew up to know it to be.
Okay.
And I watched them and.
So how does that translate for you in terms of deal breaking? Even though you're in a marriage, where do you stand? Are you more tolerant of that since that's something you've noticed, or like Tasha, is that become even more of an emphasis?
Yeah, that's an emphasis. That's more important. I don't. It's that is a deal breaker. The respect level of what men have for women these days.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Brother Kenny and Sister Poston?
The last 3 years, I'll be honest with you, dating, we talked about this on a couple of shows. For me, dating has been it's been frustrating. I haven't done a lot of dating because of there's too many rules, do's and don'ts. So I'm kind of over that with all this. You have to fill out an application just to even date with a lot of women. They got this checklist. But the biggest thing for me is inconsistent communication. I'll tell you real point blank. If I was 3 or 4 years ago, if I was really interested in someone, I would definitely be all in trying to communicate, trying to, what I'm trying to say.
Right.
But now, fast forward now, my thing is this: if I see any type of inconsistent communication that you don't even really have any interest, I don't even sweat it no more because I don't call back, I don't text, I don't do nothing, I don't respond. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
I love it. I love it. Hannah and Bert, where you guys stand on this? I know you're married, but in the context of how we're discussing this, where do you stand? And as you guys are thinking about this, what's going on, Mr. Real Estate Insider?
What's up, Lamb?
Mr. TFG, and this is Mr. Vernon Talks.
What's up, Kennard?
What's going on, my brother? So, Hannah and Bert, what do you say?
I have to say now, to me, disrespect and dishonesty is a deal breaker for me. I know people say, "Oh, you have to stick in there." Dishonesty is kind of big for me because I feel like we're married, we should be able to communicate and say certain things. So if you're deliberately keeping something from me, I feel like, yeah, no. To me, that's my deal breaker.
Okay.
Now, before I had a lot of deal breakers, but I'm past that. My list was long.
That's exactly what I'm talking about right there.
That's where I'm going with this. That's where I'm going with this. I appreciate
that.
It
can change depending on the person.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Bert, what do you say, my brother? What's going on, Candace?
Hey, what's up, cousin? What's up, Candace?
For me, it's still the same, man. She called me Mr. Mean and all, but man, like my patience is thin. You know, I mean, if for me, if it's something big or something that I can really like tolerate or get through, then fine, so be it. But it's still like the small nitpicky stuff that drives me up a wall, and it will still drive me up a wall. So at the end of the day, I don't think really anything really changed with me from dating and so forth. It like it's just what my patience. I just can't deal with much. You know what I'm saying? Because me, I'm like really an easygoing type of guy. But if you're gonna make things too rough, then I can't really mess with you. So I don't think my mindset has changed one bit. I don't care what the new wave is or whatever's going on out here. I ain't gonna put up with it. That's just me. I'm just cut from a different cloth. I'm cut from the old cloth. So that's how I get down.
I love it. I love it. As you guys are naming these things, they're going to come up. And so it's interesting that this team of experts put this list together. So you're going to see some of these same things come up. And for myself, real quick, the needle has definitely moved. What was important to me probably 3 years ago is probably taking somewhat of a backseat, to what I would be willing to tolerate now. And like you, Brother Kenny, I'm lost out here in this whole dating scene. That's what made me do this, is because I'm having to prioritize if I'm going to get back out there, and remotely make myself available. So I'm going to have to decide, well, what can I take and what can I not take? And everybody's list is going to be very personal. So let's jump into the first one. And, Kenny, you right out the box, communication disconnect, when let me ask it this way, because Kenny, you already talked about how important it is to you, but I want to know for the group in terms of, is this really a big thing about connecting, at this stage of being on the same page and how you communicate? How big Tasha's shaking her head, because I kind of know how big a thing is this for you and the part it would play in you being a deal breaker?
Because I feel like now people have made it so like overcomplicated in the dating world, like in the dating realm. And what I mean by that is it's just as simple as just stating clearly what it is that you're wanting or what you're looking for from someone, and what and where you're going, as opposed to just hiding it and masking it under, I don't know, all kinds of other labels. Just if you're looking for something specific, just say it. Don't just expect for somebody to read your mind. Or even when it comes to treatment, tell somebody how you want to be treated. Don't just expect them to know that that's what you want or that's what you're looking for. Tell them what your needs are. Tell them that that's what you need. Whether it is like constant reinsurance, or I need to know where you are. Have the conversation, even if it is difficult and uncomfortable. Just talk.
I love it. I love it. While she said that, we always hear this thing about when it comes to communication and translating to people have different languages of love, and so I think we can agree that not everybody communicates the same way. What is it for you that you need? What's your level of communication? And is there something in that level of communication that for you is a no-no? That this is something that it's a deal breaker for you. Anything, or is there nothing? What is it for you?
I'll say I'm with Tasha. We gotta communicate. I'm 100% big on communication, because we can't communicate. What are we even together for? You can't talk to your partner. But now, if not gonna really not say a deal breaker, but talk to me. Don't talk at me. I'm big on that. We can talk about anything, even if you upset or anything. Just you can talk to me, but just don't talk down to me. That's
Okay.
my only thing. Like, you could, even if you angry, it's the difference between being angry and expressing yourself, or just being blatantly disrespectful. But
Okay.
I do feel like if we're not communicating, then what is the point of really being with someone? Especially if you're saying you're going to be married. If you don't have communication, y'all could be outgrowing each other and don't know, because you're not even communicating.
Which brings me to a question I want to ask you, Brother Kenny, being a single older gentleman like myself. Where do you stand on the mechanisms of communication? and how it's done. We in this technologically advanced world now with texting and emojis, and some people, they require you being the first thing that they hear in the morning and the last thing they hear at night. Where do you stand on this whole thing?
It's funny you asked me this question. I had a incident that just happened a couple of days ago with a woman that someone was trying to play matchmaking with me. Long story short. So anyway, we exchanged numbers, and the woman said that you can text me anytime. Just text me. Just text me. And I'm like, I had never talked to her, and I'm like, I don't want the first time we interact or communicate to be through a informal text. So I'm gonna pick up so I called. She didn't pick up the phone. I left a message. Hey, I'm just calling. I said, since we hadn't talked before, I would rather call you rather than text you so we can really kind of, hear each other's voice. So anyway, long story short, I ain't heard back from her. But anyway, so again, I ain't sweating it. So that part of it is very frustrating. The technique, the texting and all that. I think that's cool to a certain extent, but that's later on down the line in relationship, in my opinion. Once you start trying to get to know somebody, I think it's about calling, FaceTime, and talking, listen to that voice, the voice of that person, their tone. Just learning those little nuances. So anyway, man, yeah, it's real. It's hard out here in these streets, man. It's crazy.
You never cease to amaze me on how much we're connected, honestly, with some of our experiences. Now obviously I'm out here living on the edge too.
No pun intended.
But at my core, people may be shocked to find that I really do want to find somebody. And Sherry, I'm coming to you because what Kenny just talked about, my sister was going to fix me up with someone that was in my age group. I had asked all the appropriate questions: what she looked like, was she my type, blah blah blah. And once that was established, that pretty much she had a fat ass and some dick sucking lips. So that was what the physical requirement stood. It was going to be a hookup kind of thing. And Sherry, what happened? If you want to tell that story about your friend who was going to be in Atlanta and we was trying to connect. And initially, Sherry put us, together on the three-way call. Hey, this is my brother. This is what happened, sis. I'll let you tell the rest shortly. Go ahead.
Well, from the beginning, I was saying to you that I don't think that you would, she would be your, for you. And you was like, well, how would I know that? Like, let you talk to us. I did. Whatever. Make a long story short, she said she was going to be down in Atlanta because her daughter lives there, and she was going to, hit you up and all this other type of shit. And she came down, and she didn't call you while she was down there. She wound up calling when she got back or some old shit, and texting you some next time and all this, which I already knew, because I knew from the beginning. I told you, she wasn't the person you would want to deal with.
Okay, so let me finish. So I'll add a few context. So she texted while she was here her last day, and it was a very similar situation, as you, Kenny. Like my thing was, and even then, it was kind of like a up in the air texting plan where maybe we could meet somewhere, that kind of thing. And so it was so impersonal, and my thing was, if that's representative of what I first meet, I was like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so, yeah, the day before she left, well, next time, so again, of course, the arrogance in me was like, well, pigs will fly around this motherfucker before, we ever run across each other again. Now, that said, I wouldn't mind stuffing myself in her head because now I would treat her with the utmost disdain and respect. The real estate insider says these gals don't talk on the phone no more. They act like it's creepy. And it's so true. Brother Bert, you want to add anything?
Yeah, and while you and the brother and Natasha, I was talking, it's a gentleman on my job, and he goes through the same exact thing as far as all that texting and everything like that. And if he doesn't respond, then it's like a big issue. I don't understand how you can actually move like that, or you're just ready just for a response with a text. I thought that you probably want to hear the person talk to you, because a text doesn't have doesn't have a sound to it, doesn't have a tone to it. So some things could be taken out of context. You know what I mean? That's why you got to actually talk to the person.
Right.
So I'm like, this is like, and when he's talking to me, he's telling me all this stuff and about these women and things like that. I mean, tell you the truth, he said he's actually tired. He said it's hard for him. And here it is. He has a number of women, but he's saying that it's just hard and it's tiresome, it's taxing on him as of right now, as far as how he has to maneuver and how the way the women are maneuvering. And he said that he's not lying to him. He's not saying that he wants a relationship with them or they're the number one.
Right.
But it's just a lot.
So for me, this is definitely a deal breaker. The communication, particularly the method of communication for me. If you're relying upon texting to get to know me, it's never going to happen. That is a major deal breaker for me. I still value a good conversation. There's no way I can get to know a woman through texting. On top of that, even after we establish contact, that cannot be my primary way to communicate with you. So that is a major deal breaker for me at this stage right there, the communication piece of it. Number two, another deal breaker is change views about children. Change views about children. Tasha, I'm coming to you first with this one because and I'm not trying to put on the spot, but when I come to you, when I say I'm coming to you, it's never to embarrass. It's always because I think that person has something truly valuable to add to the context of the situation. So I'm putting on you on the spot, so to speak, in a sense that you don't have children. And I look at your age. Where do you stand? Because have your views shifted from, and I know certain things, but I want you to communicate where you stand on the value of making babies and bringing children, because this is where I want you to add to this.
No, my views have been the same and will remain the same. That's not something that I am looking to do or interested in doing. I don't see the world improving at all. Every day I am more and more and more just ashamed and confused often about what's going on. And I don't see, I just don't see any sustainability in it, or even a happy life that they would even be able to lead. So no, for me, and even for whoever I meet, that's one thing I'll never do is mislead someone or tell them, like, oh, well, maybe. No. It's a very firm, upfront, no, I don't want kids, don't plan on having any. And even for me, and I know as I get older, it's going to be harder, but I'm holding out for us millennials that, a lot of us are staying, like single, like no kids. I would also stand firm in not being with someone who has kids. That's just for me. It is a deal breaker for me because it's too much to undertake for me.
Bert, come on, my brother, because I want to hear you.
Well, actually, this was I just want to talk to Tosh for a second about like, I know you said you said you didn't plan, you're not going to plan, but if you do find that person, that one, would you reconsider?
No.
I've asked that. I'm loving you asking because I've asked that question.
Okay.
No.
It's
Great question.
No matter what.
And Tasha, expound.
No, it's a hard no for me. Now, especially I'm already 34. Let's say I do, meet that one. I'm looking at the time frame. I don't want to be, I don't want to be older with kids, and I don't want to do that. Okay. So that's why if I was going to do it, it would have been when I was younger and didn't really, didn't really care. But now, no, absolutely not.
I love your. That's why I wanted her to go first. That's why, Bert, because I wanted some people to hear that this is coming from a 34-year-old woman, and for her, that's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
And I think too, let me add this. I'm sorry, Black. I think too, some people sometimes confuse that with, I don't like kids. No, like kids. Kids are drawn to me. I don't fucking get it. But, I'm serious. Like, I don't get it. Like, but it's just for me. I just don't want to. I don't want that obligation. And I see kids as an obligation because you're obligated to them for the rest of your life or the rest of theirs, whichever one comes first. So,
And I wanted her to go first because there are going to be people out there that their first impulse is going to be, oh, she ain't gonna never find a man, you know,
probably not.
because for some people that's the point of being married or whatever. Kenny, as a single man, I look at our ages. I just turned 55, you just turned 54. Where do you stand on meeting somebody and either them wanting more children or having smaller children, and now you're coming into that relationship because you've got you shaking your head already. Where you stand, my brother?
Nah, brother. I'm standing on the sideline with that one. No, this because Kenny, I love the kids. Don't get me wrong, I do. But if they still got kids under the age of 13, I could deal with teenagers. I could deal with that. But if we talking 13, 12 and younger, nah, I don't want no part of that. My kids are grown now. They have to accept that I got an 8-year-old granddaughter, so she's gonna be around a little bit too. So, but nah, I'm not trying to deal with nobody that got children 12 and younger. No, I'll pass.
Wow. Look, I'm with you. Bert, Hunter's gone, and sis, I know your child rearing days is over. You've already told me you had that one, and that's it was intentional. But my big question for you, Bert, is that for those of us who haven't found that right person, was this a conversation that you two had long before you said I do?
As far as with kids,
Where you stand on kids, because I'll let you tell what you want to tell about your situation.
Okay, because my kids are my boys. They're pretty much grown, and Hannah has young kids, but teenagers except for a daughter, little young. But at the end of the day, that was never like no type of a deal breaker for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's just how the way. That's just me.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I was built for it. You know what I'm saying? And she's very capable of taking care of her kids, and they still have their father in their life and a whole nine. So they were never like a burden. Because sometimes I know certain generation it might seem like a burden, but it was never a burden or anything like that. And we always had that communication, and we always talked. And she was always protective, always very overly protective. Like, to tell you the truth, until we became very serious. You know what I mean? She made sure that my exposure to them was very limited, because she didn't want them to be like, and get attacked.
Right. And then it didn't work out. Right. Gotcha.
Hence why she won the prize.
Right.
In my opinion, that's one of the reasons why ultimately the respect was there that you married her. But
let me clarify something real quick. I don't want women to think that I have a problem with dating women with children. I never have. And I'm going even back, and I never do. It just depends on the age, because I know that when you got smaller children, you got a lot more responsibility, and I respect that. So I don't want women to think that you have children, you're not dateable. That's far from the truth. And I never looked at women like that, because my mama was a single woman with 2 kids. So I didn't hope men looked at my mama like she wasn't dateable. You know what I'm saying? I don't look at women with children that they aren't dateable like that.
I got you. I'm gonna give my views here in a second, but I got one question I'm dying to ask you, Bert. Go ahead.
Okay.
I want to make that point
and
first.
I wanted to piggyback off of what Brother Kenny was saying, and that was the same situation with my mom, because I was a little bit older when she finally met the man that she wound up marrying, and my brother was a little bit younger.
Okay.
So maybe I saw those examples, and then with my father and the lady and his wife.
Right.
So it was different examples. I was exposed to, a totally different deal.
Could have shaped your view. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
pretty much.
I love it.
Right.
Which leads me to the question I'm dying to ask, and you don't have to answer if you don't want. But as you were falling in love, did you find yourself falling in love simultaneously with the woman and the children, or did the love as a step parent come later?
No, it was simultaneously, because the more exposure that I had, pretty much, especially like with her daughter, it's like I pretty much seen her grow up from kindergarten, first grade to
Wow.
to
Wow.
now, and now she's
Wow.
she's a beautiful
Wow.
young lady, and it's like,
Wow.
and
Wow.
I'm getting mad
Wow.
and everything like that, because
Wow.
I still remember her being just a
Yeah.
little one. Now she's tall, and
Right.
it's, going through the progressions now, ready to get
That's
that
why I
shot.
asked, and I keep saying you think I'm joking when I say this, but you hold out a hope for me that I don't have right now. Unlike Brother Kenny, my mom is 11 of us, and ain't no fucking way that I would have come into that situation with a whole brood of ugly ass kids and stepped in there and tried to take over and be a part of that. I'm just keeping it funky. We were loud and wild and violent, and we was like the worst case motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean,
y'all was baby kids before baby kids.
times 10, times 10. People don't know our history. I grew up a very timid, scary child to a certain extent. I'm the least violent of these motherfuckers that call themselves youngs.
Scary, is he telling the truth?
Sherry, am I lying?
No, he's telling the truth.
Okay.
I'm not.
wow.
They all fought and everything. I was a terrified. My terror and fear drove me to school to join every club, because coming home, these violent motherfuckers was always into something. And I had to go to school with her ass and almost get my ass beat every day for shit she had done just because she had a nice shape and all this kind of stuff. It was a terrified, brutalized, traumatized child behind this shit. But, needless to say, as a man, I would not want to come in that situation. And unlike Kenny, it is a deal breaker for me. Okay. It is an absolute deal breaker for me that I have realized about myself. There is no room for kids in my life. None. Teenagers or little ones. Even my failed experiment with just the brief time I had somebody stay with me, I hated the motherfucker. So, no. It was horrific. And I had to come to the realization, look, as I turn to double nickel, Tasha giving me that evil eye, in my double nickel, I'm telling the truth, the unfiltered truth about certain things. And you know what I came to realize? I hated her. I did. I just don't like children. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Goo goo gaga hell. Stay where you at. There's nothing in here that's built for kids to be here and be around. And so honestly, I'm so selfish. I need somebody to be selfish too. I want you to be able to lay up and fuck with me with no retribution and nowhere to have to go to feed anybody. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I just wanted to say that you say that and I didn't think about it. You don't think about certain things until like you get of a certain age. But as Kenny was talking about his mom and Bert was talking about his family, my stepmom met my dad when he had, I was 6 when they met in 93. Okay. Like long time ago, I was 6. They, they got married after a year. She had my brother, and then they immediately got, brought us to Memphis to live with them. So she became a mother of 4, like overnight, and taking on like the raising of kids, so she saw us through like all the different stages. I couldn't do that. What she went through, I could not do that. Even when she found out, like my senior year, junior year at high school, that he had another child that just outside, like popped up, I couldn't do that. So that for me, I think that is what scarred me. And not that she ever, my stepmom I'll never say she never mistreated us. No, she definitely raised us as if we were her own. But I couldn't deal with what she deals with. I couldn't have done that.
And that's why I'm speaking my truth. That is another deal breaker.
Well, you know what that sound like? That sound like instead of y'all being better best friends, y'all two selfish son of a bitches need to get together, because I don't understand. I love kids, but if I was dating, they would have to have grown kids because I've been through that situation. And I don't fuck with kids, younger kids either. But y'all son of a bitches is selfish.
I,
Admittedly
I am,
so.
but I'm fair and I'm upfront. I am selfish, but if I'm gonna be selfish about you, I want you to be equally as selfish about me.
That's
So that's the whole
we
thing.
do share that. We do share that. And so it's true. Let me go on to number 3 because a lot of times we don't get through this list, but I'm learning, you know. What about the devaluation of your time? Tasha, I know this is big for you because you always talk about somebody doing what they say they're going to do. But how much is it a deal breaker in terms of devaluing your time? Where does spontaneity come into play? I'm interested for you guys. You know, where do you stand on this? Are you one of those people that you need things to be just so blah, blah? See, she's shaking her head already.
I am not. Please don't surprise me. Like
See,
you can try, but it's not going to work because I need to know there has to be a plan because I don't think that you may have planned it out in your head as far out as it needs to go, and you need a backup plan to your backup plan. So I'm not very. I gotta know. I
she's
gotta
not
know.
kidding. Y'all, she's not kidding. Sherry, where do you stand on this? And again, you guys got to understand, as I'm talking to my sister, she's married. But if you haven't been watching before and you know now, Sherry's situation is very unique that she does her own thing. God bless you. But sis, where do you stand on devaluing your time in a relationship? How much of a deal breaker is it that's when it comes to your time?
It is a deal breaker because, as Tasha said, you got to be doing what you said you're going to do and telling the truth about some shit. And if you don't, then I might beat on you or something else. I don't know. That's why, yeah.
Do you expect, this is a question for you, sis. Do you expect it to be all about you?
Yeah, I sure do.
I was hoping she was going to be honest. And she was honest.
Yeah, it got to be all about me because if it ain't, then you can keep it moving.
I was hoping that. I'm looking at Bert's expression. Bert, jump in here, man. Kenny, I'm coming to you there. Hannah and Bert, jump in here. Bert's like,
Because these answers, answers are crazy. But I mean, I get where they're coming from. You know, I like the element. I like the element of surprise. You know, and I don't go that deep. Well, however far you going to plan it, then fine, so be it. I just like the fact that you thought enough about me just to go ahead and try to surprise me and do something for me.
okay,
Now, regardless if it's to your liking or not, whatever the case might be, at least that person thought about you and was trying to think about doing something to try to surprise you and try to make you happy.
I got you.
But you know, I do understand that the details and making sure that everything is mapped out correctly.
But with that said, I want to ask you something as a husband. Where do you stand on? Because I asked Sherry if it was all about her. The traditional roles of where we put the woman on the pedestal, she comes first, you know, and we're supposed to wear this mantle of manhood and this and that. Where do you stand in terms of your time and somebody valuing you and your time? Your wife valuing you and your time, sometimes putting you first. Where do you stand on that?
I mean, I think that's great. I mean, you know, she's my king, she's my queen, I'm a king. You know what I mean? If she's gonna put me first, then that's great. You know what I mean? And the same with her. You know what I mean? I want to make sure she's always happy, first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And listen, if this is a lifelong commitment. So I bet I have to make her first. I have to make her feel good.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? There's no, I can't come up short. You know what
Gotcha.
I'm saying? And she damn sure make sure that she doesn't come up short when it comes to me.
Gotcha.
So I gotta make sure we always gotta make sure we match each other. It's not like it's a competition, but it's just to keep everything leveled and just to let you know I ain't forget about you.
Right.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
Kenny,
No matter what's
I'm coming
going
to
on.
you last because I got a question for you, my brother. Okay, Hannah, what do you want to add to this, sweetheart?
So I think I'm weird when it comes to time because everyone says I'm very military. I am. I do like things a certain way, but I also like to be surprised. Like, don't let me know where we're going, even though I will,
Okay.
because I'm very military. I do like things in order. I think things a certain way. So I think I'm a little weirdo because I do don't waste my time. Like if you have something planned, even if it's not to my liking, still go through with it because you never know, it can change or we can plan something afterwards. But as far as time, I'm weird like that. Like just don't waste it. But I'm very military with it.
Okay. Okay.
Preach.
Okay. I like that. Brother Kenny, once again, you and I, we're older, we're single, we're accustomed to living alone, doing things in our own space. For you as a deal breaker and meeting somebody and dating, where do you stand on time and how important is your time at this stage of where you're at in terms of how much that person gives to you to still be your authentic, independent self, and also what they may need from you?
Right. It's very important. Again, you you and I are both over the age of 50, so we on the downside of that hill. So, and not saying we ain't going nowhere no time soon, but we on the downside of the hill. So I'll be honest with you, this is definitely this is probably the biggest one because I'm about I'm at a point where I want companionship. And so with that comes spending time. So if I can't if you can't find a way to fit me in your schedule, and I'm cool with you doing your thing, don't get me wrong, I'm not needy, I'm not clingy, but if I
Mhm.
feel like that I don't see that you are making an effort to make the time that I'm making, then yeah, that's a wrap, that's a out. Because my favorite saying is this: it's nothing more wasted than wasted money is wasted time. Wasted time is worse than wasted money, in my opinion. So I'd rather you say, look, I just ain't got time right now. I got a lot going on. And I had someone tell me that about 3-4 years ago. And I was like, I'm cool. I'm glad you told me that up front. So, because I know we can't move forward. You do your thing. Hey,
I'm so
hey,
glad you
do it.
said that.
So,
Do you know, for me, this is the number one deal breaker for me. As you laid it out, 20 years ago, I didn't reckon pinch time the same way. I slept 4 hours a night, stayed up on edge. Hell, Tasha, we did binge drinking and shit and went to work and we did all kinds of. Time wasn't much of a factor. It's funny you say that, Kenny, because my thing is time is the one thing I cannot get back. I can make money, I can lose a job and find another job. But time is the one thing. My time is so valuable. Not a weekend comes that time is the number one thing that I think about. Tasha and I have this conversation every single weekend. When I clock out on Friday, the clock is running. Tasha know what I'm talking
mhm,
about.
Yep.
And I'm
yep.
literally counting the hours till I got to be back at that motherfucker again, you
Mhm,
know. And so my time is so valuable. So if somebody's going to play a part in that time, that is absolutely critical. What you want from me and what I'm able to give, you know.
right.
Right now, at this state, a good night's rest is more important than pussy to me. I love pussy. Love head
Mm,
probably
they
even
Look
more.
at Kenny face.
they about neck
I,
and neck. I think they won the A and one, bro.
you're healthier than I am. Right now, I'm on Ozempic trying to get the weight down. A year from now, maybe, the sexual component will be back up. Right now, nigga peeing in a
Okay.
bucket trying to get himself straight.
Oh my
So,
god.
you
We
know,
talked about that. Stop saying that.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to get my shit together. So, when I do get a little piece of pussy or some head, I cherish it because that's gonna hold me over for a little while, because I ain't looking for it no more. I started this. Look, a nigga is on
Uh,
E. That bitch don't owe me nothing. So right now, where I'm standing for the next week or two, I want good night's rest. But Kenny talked about being with somebody. I don't want to chase anybody. I don't want to meet you out at no spot to get to know you, this and that. If we're going to get together, it has to be valuable time well spent for me. I can no longer
yeah.
hang out for the
Right.
sake of hanging out because I could be sleeping.
Right.
And that's the God's honest truth. So this is probably the most important one for me is time. If you're needing somebody to still show you out and take you out and everything, we are not going to work. I kind of really know who I am, what I want. I'm looking for somebody who's comfortable with that and who's comfortable in their own skin being independent, because I value that when we get together, it has to count. I don't need you to cook for me, clean for me, babysit me. I could do all of those things. The time we spend together has to be valuable and it has to make a difference. And so that for me, this is number one for me as a deal breaker, how you look at time. Because I just don't have a whole lot of it to waste. As Kenny said, I'm on the downside.
God, no, y'all are not. Don't say that.
Yeah,
Y'all are so morbid.
It's the truth.
Oh.
Well, Tasha, I'm trying to fight my way back up the hill to get even.
Well, maybe I'm still at the top, and Black might be a little bit further down.
I'm a
but
little bit further down that hill.
We both on that hill.
Absolute time. Oh my God. What about this next one, which I think is a big one? What about when it comes to a disconnect about finances? How you view money, financial responsibility. Where do you stand on this being a deal breaker? Sherry, I'm coming to you first. What do you think about this one, and where do you stand when it comes to not being on the same page when it comes to how you look at things financially?
Well, I can hold my own, as you already know. But if you gonna be my man or whatever, you got to be you got to have your shit together. Because if you ain't got your shit together, then I can't even be fucking with you. I don't want to hear no ifs, ands, and buts.
Gotcha. My favorite married couple. Talk to us in general about what it's been like to cohabitate spending, to go from being separate to now pooling your resources together and making that work, because I don't think everybody does that well.
I'll say this because this is the second for both of us. I think our financial views are different probably than other people's, because I feel like we both don't believe in joint bank accounts. To each his own. We both been there before, done that. I'm not clocking your funds. Don't clock mine. And I respect that we respect each other's funds. As long as, the bills is paid. I don't really know.
I like that. No, I like that. But
I don't clock. I'm not clocking
tell me
money.
why you see it that way. Why for you guys does it work to have separate bank accounts?
So me personally, I've been in that road with the joint bank account. I just feel like I don't want anyone to question me if I want to buy a sock or if I want to buy a Louis bag. I feel like that's my business. If he want to buy a game or he want to buy a new car, that's his business. I feel like when people sometimes just clock everything, when people say joint bank accounts, I feel like they just itemize every single thing. Okay. And I don't ever want to feel that, because we don't work the same jobs. We're not on the same birth certificate. Right. We on a marriage license, but that's about it. So I'm not really about to clock your life. That's just my personal views.
That's why I want you to share.
Then if the lights get cut off, then that's a different story, because like what we doing with the money up in here. But the lights is on, the bills is paid. I mean, and I don't believe in, like, I know this sounds weird. I don't believe in splitting. Like, if I have to pay a bill, give me the bill. I'm not splitting anything. I don't have a roommate. Like, that's how I feel. Like, if he paid the bills, fine. I don't even know the car insurance. I don't want to know. I don't pay it. I'm good. But if I came to the point I had to, then I don't want to split it because we're not roommates. Just give it to me. I'll pay it, and it is what it is.
Gotcha. Bert, you want to add anything to that, my brother?
Yeah, I mean, to tell you the truth, she pretty much said it all, but I'll piggyback. Like, that was something, like, even during the first marriage, that was just so troublesome, because even though things were being taken care of, it was like nitpicking over little small things. And I'm not that type of person, you know what I'm saying? Right. I'm the same mindset as Hannah. With me, as long as things are being paid and we on the same wavelength, then whatever you want to do with your money afterwards, then you go ahead. You know what I mean? We don't go out there and splurge and be done with the money. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we make sure that certain things are taken care of first before we start doing anything else.
Gotcha. Let me talk to my single folks. Tasha, Kenny, and me. We all out here, you know, look, we make it look easy. And I truly believe that, you know, there's a misconception out there when you single that, oh, we don't have problems, you know, blah, 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 blah. To us single people, how important is this one, you know, when it comes to sharing the same views on finances? Where do you guys stand? Either one of you?
This is a touchy one because the thing says dating deal breaker. So if you're just dating, you may not want to give a lot of information about your finances and how you do things. So it's like if we're not dating to become exclusive, so do you really need to know about my finances, or do I need to talk to you about or know about yours? So it kind of depends on how what your dating intentions are. Now, if it's someone that you really feel like that you can take it to that next level, I think that you need to talk about you know, their financial literacy and yours as well. Let's be honest, ain't nobody perfect. There's some things that me personally, this one right here, I can kind of give a take on this because I know everybody's finances is different. Everybody's had bumps in the road. Everybody's had to deal with their own situation. So I'm not going to cross you off the list just because maybe your financial look or outlook might not be like mine, but we got to kind of have something in common. You feel me? So that one is a really little tricky one that you have to kind of maneuver in the dating process.
But even as you're dating, what's the expectation though if you share completely different views in terms of the dating itself, how much you spend, you know, as you're getting to know each other, and what your priorities are, and what you spend it on? Does that matter?
It doesn't matter what, in my opinion. If I'm asking you out on a date, I'm taking you out, then I'm gonna pay for the date. That's the way I look at that. Now, I can't question what you do with your money because we just date. You can be throwing your money away and do whatever you want to do. That ain't my business until we take that to the next level. Then I'm kind of like, okay, so how do you feel about, you know, financially, about doing money? How do you save? Do you invest and all that type of stuff? In my opinion.
Okay, I got you. Where you stand on this, Tasha?
For me, I really relate more to what Hannah was saying, how their marriage works. That's your money. My money is my money. If it's something that you need, or if you're short on something, I'm not. I can help. If I have it, I'll help. So I'm not saying anything like that. No, I'm not commingling funds with you. I'm not doing that. It's nothing like that. No. And then we're not doing that.
That's a new word.
I love it. No. I love it. That's that master's degree talking, y'all. Go ahead.
No, but then also I don't really have like I don't have like this level of expectation that I expect, not even ask. I don't expect you to contribute towards mine, and whatever. Now with the dating though, I do have some questions. Have you ever had your car repossessed? Have you ever had like a repossession? I need to know.
Okay.
Have you ever been evicted? Because I don't want to be in a relationship with you, and then the one time I might decide to jump in the car with you, we go somewhere, we come outside, where the hell is the car? I don't want to be caught you know what I mean? So as long as you're an adult who is, being responsible, paying your bills, where you're not coming with just a 320 credit score, then, we can. If you have a plan, I'll follow your plan. Now I may have some questions along the way, but I'll follow you. But I got to know where it's going.
Okay.
Credit is big though, Tasha. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
You can pay your bills, but credit is important. So I'm with you.
and more so than I ever would have thought. It took me all these many years in life to learn the value of that. Having said that, I continue to learn so much about myself on a serious note, and it maybe explains why I'm alone, and I'm probably going to continue to be alone because I'm very much antiquated in my thinking. Probably, I do have to commingle funds. That's important to me. Tasha's laughing. That's very important to me. If I'm married, I do believe in me governing the funds. Now, you need to understand I'm not a watchdog in the sense that I'm itemizing things, but I'd be lying to you if I tell you that I keep up with every penny. I probably look at my bank account twice a day. I'm that diligent about monitoring what's going in, what's coming in and out of it. Now I've been married before, and my wife would have to say whether that was I was overbearing with that. I would like to believe that she had as much financial freedom as she wanted to, within reason. Within reason. Now I believe in allowance because I believe for us it governed what I thought our overall goal was. Because for me, it's about making sure we have a financial nest to for us to be able to benefit from at a later date. I believed it then. I believe it now. Even more so now when I look at the dating scene. And for me, this is why I differ with you, Brother Kenny, is that it is important. I do look at somebody even initially and look at where they prioritize how they spend their money. I remember going out with someone. This wasn't a date, but I was out with my nephew, his wife, and another friend. And long story short, we went into this little club thing, and she handed him her black card, and it was bottle service, and it was $110 for the table. And I was like, oh my God, She said, well, I do this every weekend. This is how I do it, blase. And then through the course of the night, they ordered this and ordered that, and when the bill finally came, me being nosy, I wanted to peek over there and see what it was. It was over $300. The first thing went through my mind is if she's doing this every weekend, I could never take her serious. I could fuck her, but we could never be serious. For me, fiscal responsibility is very, very important. And even as I'm getting to know the person, I'm very generous when you're mine. I buy gifts just because, and I put that person first. And any woman that's ever dated can tell you that. But in terms of the standard of what the dating is now, to go into the place, I'm very frugal when it comes to certain things. That to me I consider wasteful, and I admit I'm antiquated in my thoughts in that way. I'm still caught up with, do you do your own hair, or are you at the beauty shop, every week, spending money to get your hair done every single week? If you're spending $60 to get your nails done, how often are you doing that? How many fucking persons do you need? I mean, the red
That's
bottom shoes,
maintenance.
where the fuck you going that you need red bottom shoes?
That's needed.
See that, and that's why I said
I will attack.
that's why I'm not.
Okay.
That's why you
Hey.
found your king.
I-
And I'm sitting here alone because my views
I
are
would-
admittedly very antiquated.
I'm gonna get my nails hair done
So that's why
3
I said
times a week.
I'm learning about I love it. That's why I'm and I'm trying to change something. So I'm trying to change some of these things because I recognize that's an antiquated way of thinking, and that if I get somebody, I have to let go of some of that. But I'm just sitting here you telling you guys my truth, that is a deal breaker at this stage. I do look at those things, and it's making me open up my view and say, well, wow, I need to maybe look at this a little differently, because yeah, that's the thing. I'm at this stage of my life where I am looking at financially where she and it could be so wrong, because maybe she, like me, is of that age where I've raised my children, I got my education, I've earned a right to go do X, Y, and Z, and she would be 100% correct. So I need to adjust my thinking. Is what I'm saying.
Well, well, Brad Black. I'll be honest with you. This is no right or wrong. That's you for
Yeah.
you. That's
No,
how
no, no,
you
no,
look
no.
at it.
I'm not
Just
saying I'm
like the
wrong.
woman you said
Right.
yeah, right. But you were saying what you say. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but no, you're not wrong because even with the woman you were saying with the black card, and she said she do that every weekend. You know the old saying. And the players, it ain't tricking if you got it. She probably got it. So if she says she do
You
it,
gotta wait
that's
for it.
Well,
cool. But
no. Well, no. Well, let me answer that.
that doesn't fit what you would want though, and there's
Well,
nothing wrong
no,
with that.
no,
And
No,
I get
Kenny,
what you're
no.
that's
saying.
wrong.
Let me say this. So let me say this though. So okay. So with that case, the proof is in the pudding. When I say if the guy tricking,
Thank you.
Dreamy pipes in because I guess she feel attacked too. She
I
said
have
red
pairs.
bottles very necessary, Hunter.
I have
That's my
multiple
baby.
pairs. I'm with you.
So let me say this to answer your question. So here's how I view things, and I could be so wrong. I'm on the outside looking in, but again, I'm looking at what she's driving. I'm looking
Oh,
at.
okay.
I happen to know that she had a. Tasha always
Oh,
tells me
okay.
what's the politically correct way to. She had a
Okay,
Don't
so
she had
some
don't
a challenge.
background on us. A
Yeah,
challenge.
because
Okay,
again,
I
I'm
got you.
looking at all
Okay,
of this,
got you.
and so
You
my
looking at
thing
it? Well,
is,
that makes
my
sense. I
brain
got
is
you on that.
saying, "Well,
I get
shit,
you.
you should be spending if you
Right.
come in here, if you tricking every week with your black card, there was other things I feel like maybe you should be
No,
spending
no.
your
Well,
money
that
on,
makes
you know."
absolutely great sense
Now
what
I
you're
have a
saying. No, I
question.
get that. I get that.
If I don't really, if she's driving a certain car, your car is paid off, then you can spend what you want.
That's why I said I could be so. I drive a Nissan Altima.
Paid off is better than car note any day.
And mine ain't even paid off. I drive a Nissan Altima, and I live in Buckhead, so there's many people that's going to look at my car and judge me based on that. So maybe a car's not important to her, but I'm just telling you what was going through my head. That I'm saying to myself that damn, she balling like this every week. You know what was going through my mind? I could never be serious with her because I would have a problem with if that's her routine and that becomes our routine. That every weekend we're giving away $200, $300, $400 so that
Right.
we can sit at a noisy. I just feel
Right.
like that money could be spent somewhere else. That's what
That
I
makes
see.
sense. That makes
That
sense. No,
makes sense.
I agree with that. I
That's what
agree
I
with
see.
you. Yeah, that
You
makes
Yeah,
know,
well,
sense.
now
Hunter,
the red bottoms might be valuable, but damn.
They're valuable.
My baby, you see, my baby said it's necessary.
It
We
is.
spoil you. We are spoil you.
And that's why again
It
I'm
is.
alone because I
And
guess I could
I
take my
couldn't date
time
my
and
brother.
pull out all of her shoes and paint all them bitches red on the
Oh
bottom,
no,
and
absolutely
and
not.
and and you'd be just fine, you
I
know.
couldn't date my brother, and I don't know what the girl is like, but I wouldn't have been putting up no black card for you and nobody else, for one. And me and Cherish should spoil you. And
Well, she wasn't putting it up for me. She said that's how she rolled,
But
right, no, I'm
also,
just
can I
saying. I'm
say
just
one thing?
saying.
you know.
And then
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And
No.
Go
then,
ahead, sis.
brother, it was a situation even with your wife. She asked me one time, Sherry, what did you mean? She said, let me ask you a question. I said, what? She said, what did you mean? We stopped at the gas station, and I said, Tony, come on, give me the money, because I know you ain't think I'm spending my money. She said, ain't your money his money? And I said, no, my money is my money, and his money is our money. So
I
I'm
see.
for you.
Oh,
That was her
Sherry.
view.
Oh,
But
oh, oh,
in the
oh,
interest of
oh, oh,
time,
oh,
I just want you to answer one
oh.
question before you move on. So if anybody's watching this, did my wife want for anything?
No, she didn't want for anything. You was very good to her, and she had all kind of things. But I couldn't date you because ain't nobody clocking my money.
Well, I'm just saying, and that's why I want to draw the difference. I don't want anybody thinking that I lorded over her. My wife, anybody watching this show who knew me when I was married, they was jealous of my wife because my wife, from the outside, they didn't understand why we divorced or why we split because this is something. When my wife wanted a car, pay for it cash. I'm not a materialistic person. When we went into places to shop, I tell Sherry and Tasha, I'm not a purse holding guy, but when I would go into different stores and she would try on clothes, my answer was just get them all. Well, Freddie, which one do you think? Get them all.
But I don't understand,
She go
brother.
to
Why
try on contact lenses. She looks for one. Buy them all. I'm that person. If you're mine, I want you to have. That's not important to me. but I believe in knowing where the finances are, what's coming and going, so I can keep up with it. But in terms of me governing over or issuing her out little, no, this was the same wife, like any other wife, that will walk up to me in a den and say, I'm going to go out and open my wallet and take what she wanted.
Yeah, you was right. You was right on that, but I don't know what's this big thing with you about holding no purse. If I tell you to hold my purse, you're gonna hold it.
I'm just that's yeah. I do have a little thing about that. I'm not holding a purse. I don't even go in a woman's purse. I won't even look in a woman's purse.
I don't do that either.
It is a thing with
Never
me.
done that.
We're gonna take one more in the interest of time. That's why so we don't always get to. But I think this one is another one. What about leftover feelings for an ex? Is this a deal breaker? Or Art, Hannah's already saying deuces. Because and the reason why I put this up here is that I'm gonna reserve my views for Tasha. I want you and I to go last on this one.
Okay.
There's a reason. When I say leftover feelings for an ex, is it a requirement to be with somebody that you shared every last ounce of feeling for that ex? Is that a deal breaker?
Hell yes.
Say that again, Black. Say it again.
Is it a deal breaker? And Hannah's already saying hell yes.
Hell
I
yes.
asked, is it a deal breaker that you shared every last ounce of feeling you had for that ex?
I'm with Hannah.
Hannah sat up in her seat.
Oh,
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hype myself up, but I know the person who I am. So if you're with me, you don't need to be worried about nobody else. That's just my opinion. I know what I bring to the table. I know what I offer, and I know what I put on the table. So, however, if I feel like you want to be with your ex, and I've met the ex, she ain't, not to toot my horn, but however, if you feel like you need to have feelings for your ex, then be with your ex and don't waste my time and don't be with me. Because it's not just me. It's me. I'm a package.
Go ahead, baby girl.
That's my feelings. I feel like now you gotta realize though, if it's a fresh breakup, some people might not be over the ex.
Okay.
But if it's a year or two in between, then what you still harboring the feelings for? Let it go.
I'm so glad you went right there. I think, Kenny, you just asked this question on TFG's His and Hers Relationship Perspective.
I'm glad
how long?
Right.
He asked the question, and I answered that question. That's why I'm saving you and I for last, Tasha. How long?
Lamar asked it.
Okay, I thought it was you. How long does it take for you to get over your ex? And Tasha, you know I'm holding me and you
after
to the
3
end.
songs.
Okay.
3 songs, a bottle of wine, a hot bath, and a night out.
Wow. Oh wow.
Okay, Bert, what do you want to add to that soliloquy?
Bert almost got beat up.
Bert said.
around here. No, but yeah, you got to shed that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I guess it all depends on how what the relationship was about. You know what happened, the whole nine. But you got to shed that shit because you don't want that to leak into your current relationship, because then it could start being almost like a comparison type of deal.
Okay.
That's going on that can ruin a relationship. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you gotta shed that shit. Get rid of that shit, or I'm out the door.
Okay. Okay. Y'all are in full agreement.
He better be.
Sherry.
Okay.
And he better say it.
Okay, bro.
You okay?
Well,
smart man.
Yeah.
That's my dog. Sherry and Kenny, what y'all say?
All I'm gonna say is Hannah preach.
He's women gangster on this panel.
Sherry kept it short. She's hey, all right. Kenny, what you say, my brother?
You know, man, this is a very complicated question for me because, and I'm gonna keep it short, and I'm not gonna go into depth, but I think everybody's relationship with their ex, it ends differently, and how they end it and how they move forward is different. And I can honestly say with my ex, it took me some years to get over, and that's probably why my dating has been sporadic. Because of that, because my ex and I were best friends. We grew up together. And so when my ex passed away last year, that definitely did something to me, my psyche. So again, I get it, but again, everybody's situation is different. Now, if someone that I got with, if they was still talking about their ex, I would definitely keep an open mind about it just to see where they're at. And I could honestly tell them, like, you know what? I think you cool and you dope, but I think you got some unfinished business.
Okay.
So I think you need to see if you can finish that, or you can rekindle, or y'all can make that work. That's how I would handle it. So again, that's my. I don't want to go more in depth, but that's kind of my answer.
I got you. I got you.
Can I say one thing?
Sure. I'm not even rushing us off. I just knew we couldn't take them all.
No matter what I said, now one thing I don't want, if y'all have kids, I will not tolerate disrespect of the ex. No matter if they were a jerk to you or not.
Okay.
The disrespect of the ex, I feel like shouldn't be, if you have, because
I
feel like if I ever became an ex, then you just gonna be talking about me the same way. So I do feel like the disrespect of the ex, even though it shouldn't be a factor anymore, I feel like still respect them because they were a person who showed you what you need now.
I love that. I love that.
True.
I love that. Real Estate Insider says some people like to share.
Share these hands.
Tasha, you can reveal as much as you choose to reveal on this one.
I am probably not the best person to talk to about this. I am friends with a lot of my exes, not in the sense of still sleeping together, but I am a friend. Now, let me clarify.
Okay, you see me leaning in close now.
If said person is not in in a serious relationship, then of course the door is open. However, I know what black, but not to be back together. Let me be very clear. When we break up, like that's it. Like we're broken up. I don't go backwards. Like I won't date you again. We can fuck because I know you, but we can't be together. If you need some advice, I'm here. But as far as advice, like I'm not gonna sit there and I'm not gonna steer you wrong, like in your current relationship. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna slam that person. I'm not gonna do that. I am gonna tell you about yourself and how I know how you can be, and how it could and how that could be affecting like your current relationship. Black is laughing because of one particular person. He's the exception. He's the exception. He knows he's the exception, but let's be very clear. He's in a long-term relationship. They've been together for over 9 years. They have 2 kids together. But with this person, my brain doesn't work the way it's supposed to with this person. It is I am led strictly by my heart with this person. That's why I can't be dealing with him like that. Because it's nothing logical. It is pure emotion.
Not Tasha the pimp. No, not the pimp.
And you can choose to answer this if you want to. When's the last time y'all fucked?
Huh?
You heard the question.
Don't answer that.
You heard the question.
Don't answer that.
You know what? I take it back. I think it may have been I think it was September. Pretty sure it was September.
And see, that's why
Kenny's face.
And see, that's why I'm with Hannah, because exes is exactly that. They exes. That's what
I saved us for last, because Kenny, you led right there. Not all exes are created equal.
They're not.
It is what it is. I answered that question earlier today, and I would say it took me 10 years to get over this one ex, to truly flood this person from my system. As Tasha said, It's not logical. It's not sane. But there was this one person that years had gone by. She had been with people. I had been with people. She still had somewhat of a hold on me. And I literally had to break away. And it was not easy to break away because, to your point, did I compare people? But not in the sense you're thinking. I wasn't holding people up and saying, you don't do this like her, that like her. But she was what I thought was the one. She had all of the qualities that I would have easily taken for a wife. And so, yes, when you found that thing that came that close to being marriage again, I am to a certain extent measuring that thing, not them against her per se, but I'm measuring, can we get to that place? And it was a struggle because that felt so right. And I was so close again to finding that it until I'd be lying if I told you that there wasn't still some feelings left over. Now, I would like to believe that they didn't bleed over into my other relationships in the sense that I didn't call out a name during sex or no shit like that.
Ooh.
You know,
Oh,
you know, I'm just keeping it funky with y'all. So, you know, but yeah, you know, there was something about that this person that, yeah, for a long, long, long time, she was the standard, you know, that I measured my own happiness by, to be honest. And I realized that that was not healthy. It was
I
not
can relate.
sustainable. And
I
so
can
I
relate.
had to, even for myself, bleed this person out of my system till I can get to the point where I can sit here today and say to you that if I ran into her, I'm okay. Go ahead, Bert. I'm sorry.
This is for the both of you, but I'm gonna start with Taj.
Yes.
Okay. If you if you were with someone, all right, you went to them, can this person still infiltrate that situation because how the way you feel for them? And have you thought about like any type of way like to cut them off? Like have you really like tried to like, hey, listen, I'm gonna have to block this dude or whatever because this is just too much. And for you, Black, how did you get that person out your system that took you so long? How did you finally get that out?
Okay. Tasha, I'll let you go first.
So for me, I have tried the blocking thing. The problem with this person is that this person has access to databases and finds me.
Oh damn!
So
You can
that's
MacGyver.
why it's like a little
You
bit.
effing MacGyver.
It's like
You effing
it's
MacGyver.
so weird. It's always like, I don't know, like kismet that we just randomly we'll see each other somewhere that I could be 1,000 times and I'll see this person, you know. But and I have tried. And to be fair, let me say this too. This isn't someone that I would say that we could ever say that we were exclusively like in a relationship with one another. No, this is someone who met me when I was very young. I was 18 years old. And we just had like an instant connection. Now, as far as like a relationship, could they infiltrate it? No. The last guy I dated, this is gonna sound crazy. I went to this person and I told him that I was gonna start dating someone. I told him I felt compelled, like I owed him that
Look,
explanation
I
that I
like
was
Kenny's
going to
facial
be with
expression.
someone, that I was going to be with someone, and that you can't be calling me, you can't be popping up in my apartment, you can't be doing stuff like that. That look, I don't be doing drive-bys and pop up at your house. You can't be doing that to me. And I told him like I was really gonna make a real go of it, and I wanted to be with this person. And I did not talk to him. He did not bother me in that entire time that I was dating this person.
Oh.
But like he does have a knack
Whoa.
for finding people.
Go ahead, Kenny. Ask the most logical question.
That is some straight pimp-ish right there. What you just said, Tasha. You a
It,
straight up pimp. So you told the current dude that you was dealing with that you're gonna
no, no.
start dating someone else.
No, no, no.
The dude you told,
The dude that just does it for her, she went to him
right?
and
Yeah.
said, "Look,
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting ready to try to make this work with this new person,
Oh,
so I need you to
okay.
respect those boundaries and stay
Yeah.
away."
Oh, okay. Oh, he
Yeah.
wasn't gonna do that. You know
No, he
that.
did.
Come on.
No, he
He did.
did. He respected the
He did.
relationship. He did respect it. He did. Now, as soon as
Okay.
it was over with, he was right back at it.
Oh,
But
That's
Okay,
the truth. That's the
I
truth. That's
I
the
got
truth.
one question. While you were dating the guy, what did you still fuck him?
no,
No, no, that's what
Oh,
she's saying.
I
He
okay.
cheated
stayed
with
away.
somebody else. I
she
cheated with
she
somebody.
stayed away.
He stayed away.
That
Okay.
was
Wait,
something
what?
totally
Not cheating
different.
with somebody else.
I
Now,
cheated with
but I
somebody
will
else.
share that all while she was with the guy, she was saying he don't do it like him.
Well, of course not.
She was saying,
But I,
because I got told I'm the friend, so I was like, well, damn, you know what? I could be getting this, and I got this.
I respect your gangster though, Tasha. That's some gangster ish right
But it
there
was
though.
other it
Real
was
talk.
other stuff
Right?
too.
No, it was, it
It was
was,
a
it was,
lot of other stuff too.
it
But like
was.
you can't it for me it was likened to I went from dealing with like a grown man to a college student. And it was just like I can't it was an adjustment that I wasn't prepared for. So
But
Oh
you know the
shit!
one thing I would say about that as a woman, you took control and you was in the position to make the call. So I respect that. You know, some women, a lot of people don't, they look at women differently when they, in a situation like that. But I respect
I'm glad
you
you
was doing
said
your
that.
thing.
As her
You
friend,
calling the
Tasha
shot.
can.
You were calling the shots. You were calling the shots. So
I'm glad you said that. As her friend, Tasha can vouch because that's the support that I gave as a friend that I didn't judge. And I've always told her,
mhm.
long as you're making the call, it's you and your body. If you're getting out of it what you want, because we as men,
Right.
we do it all the time.
Right.
And as her
We do.
friend, that
Yep.
was my support. That I'm not judging you, you know, because again, I have had a similar situation. I understood it, but more importantly, I didn't want to be the hypocrite that a guy I can go out and do it, but because I can justify, that I'm knocking this person off because she don't. I'm not gonna do that. My thing was always have said to Tasha as a friend, as long as you're doing it on your own terms. And I can vouch for she ain't out there giving niggas money. It's all she controls the shots. It's her place, her way. God damn if it ain't her way, because she's a bossy
oh no.
SOB. But
Oh wait.
so that it is what it is. Now to answer your question real quickly, Bert, I had to cut this person off cold. That was the only way.
Yeah.
Had I kept any contact, I don't think I would have been able to maintain because she had that kind of a hold on me in that sense. And I had to let a number of years go by to I have a voice recording of this person right now that I keep on my phone. I will not erase it. You know, it now I can listen to that message and I'm strong enough to ignore it, but it was very difficult even after a couple of years and this person reached out and I was tempted. But I knew the moment I returned that call, I would have fallen back in that same place. And
Yeah.
again, it was not healthy. It was very frustrating. Tasha knows this. It's a very frustrating place to be, to have somebody that you're sitting in the wings and it's and the other part is who she was. It wasn't that I wanted that person even right then. I still was holding on to what we were. That's the other part, you know. And I was a little bit angry too that she was giving all this good pussy away, that when I had her, she was kind of little, naive. And now that I taught this bitch how to fuck, now she out there giving that good head and tail away. So I had to live with that in my head, like them legs being pent back for real now. You know, when I got her, she just was sucking dick.
Lord,
Now she's sucking dick.
oh,
She's
Lord,
really sucking dick. So okay,
You,
you
you
know, I had to
asked
live with
it.
this
Lord
shit.
have mercy.
You asked it.
Lord have mercy.
I know.
You opened this door.
Lord
I know.
have mercy.
I'm just, I'm just saying, it's complicated, as they
It
say.
is, and it doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. And it is something that is, I- and you know what? My feelings for that person has really like made me not want to get that attached to somebody else
Wow, wow.
because it's like
And I
I
understand
don't
that, and
want to deal with that. I don't want to go through that again.
I truly understand that.
That's
So
deep,
anyway,
Tasha.
yeah,
I do. I mean, this topic could really be a whole show
Yeah.
because it's some
we don't
deepness
ever,
to it.
guys, we don't ever get to all of them, but I love that because it means that we're peeling the layers back. And I don't know about you guys, this is therapy for me. I get
Mhm.
so much out of
Yeah,
these
for me too.
conversations. I
For me
learn so
too.
much about myself. I'm continuing to learn. So I thank you guys. And that's what I say. I'm hyped up because I came in a good mood and I get so much out of this. Do you know I process this show days afterwards? I'll be in the shower and I'll still be processing what we talked about and comments that you guys make. So I'm learning, and that's why I call you guys my favorite couple, because y'all for me are the hope that I can maybe still find somebody, but I'm working on myself. It's a work in progress, you know. It really is. And then I share so many common views with my brother Kenny, Sherry, and Tasha keep me honest, you know. So I'm still trying to get to that place, you know.
Yeah.
But I'll say to the one who had a hold on my heart, I'm over you, baby. I just had my dick sucked so good that I'll tell you, you ain't got nothing on her.
Oh,
You ain't
my
got nothing on her.
Jesus.
I'm just gonna say, now they sucking dick in the 23 version now, baby. I'm telling you. Whoop,
Oh
whoop,
my
whoop.
God. God.
Folks, this has been the show.
And that's how you exit stage left. That's how
And
you
that's all,
exit
folks.
stage left.
This has been a show. I love you guys. Once again, find us on TFG, Ratchet, Uncut, YouTube, and Facebook. We gonna always keep it real, keep it fun, but we talk some real shit. It is what it is, you know. So today is a good day. I
Yeah.
appreciate all of you for sharing an hour and a half of your time with me. So laugh, enjoy it, you know. Hey, until next time, be good to each other and always keep it real. Love you guys.
Peace.
Love you back,
Later,
brother.
y'all.
Peace out.